Welcome back. I just want to say it's good to see you again. We're here for day 19. This is a Power Pilates practice. So we're going to be using intervals of 45 seconds with a shorter rest. And we have a selection of exercises that we're going to work through. There's nothing that you haven't done in this circuit before, so it's a nice way to try and bring everything together while increasing the intensity and meeting your edge during this practice. All you're going to need is a mat. Make sure that you got water to stay hydrated. So when you're ready, join me on the mat. What we're going to do is start in a standing position. You're going to take a nice big breath, circle the arms overhead, feet about hip width apart. Take the left hand around the right wrist and then pull yourself gently over to the left. Gently pull that top shoulder back to open the chest. And then inhale, take a nice wide stretch overhead and then switch side. On the inhale, come back to center, switch, and find greater length as you bend. Anchor the heels down and come back to center one final time. Beautiful. Come back up. One final big stretch and then fold forwards, hinging at the hips. Let the chest fall towards the thighs. And as you inhale, find length through the spine. Then exhale, fold forwards. So we're going to send this wave through the spine as you push through your legs, find that length from the tailbone to the crown of the head, and then fold over the thighs, looking for that stretch through the lower back. Lift and stretch. Exhale and fold forwards. One more time. Set the hands down on the ground, and I would like you to heel toe the feet slightly wider and then walk the hands forwards. You might need to reposition yourself on the mat. Send the hips down and chest up. Relax the shoulders away from the ears for upward dog. And then inhale, lift the hips up and back for down dog. We're going to transition through the two. Find that length in your down dog through the back of the legs. And then send that wave through the spine, opening up the abs and chest and shoulders for the up dog. Feel free to float the knees down for your up dog just to give yourself the added support. Or transition onto the tops of your feet, hips off of the ground. And last one, we're going to finish in down dog and then walk the feet to hands. Take the feet wider than shoulder width, toes turn out. Bend at the knees, chest up, coming in for some frog squats. So loads of length through the spine. You're trying to sink into your hips and lift the tailbone, lower the crown to the ground. And then lower the tailbone, lift the crown. Stretching out the back of the legs, starting to warm up the knees. We've been here before. For those of you that have been working with me from day one or in person, your body knows what to expect. You're looking to warm up the tops of the thighs, mobilize the hips, knees, and ankles here. And last one, take an extended forward fold, walking or pedaling the heels as an option. And then inhale, halfway lift. Set the hands down on the exhale and then stepping back on one leg, floating the knee down to the ground for a kneeling lunge. As you inhale, take the arms overhead, chest over hips, and then exhale. Slide the heel of the front foot forwards, extending into half split. So we're going to do 3 transitions from half split to kneeling lunge. Once you've found that nice distance and stance for yourself, inhale, bend through the front leg, float the arms overhead, feel the opening through the hips, and then exhale, send the hips back for half split, stretching the back of the legs. Second time. And final time, nice and deep into the lunge, and then set the hands down on the ground. Now I want you to bring both hands on the inside of that front leg, and you can shorten your stance a little bit. We're going to take the same hand as the front leg and sweep it forwards, opening the hips a little bit deeper. Then circle the arm all the way overhead and down to the ground, and then float it up, open the chest. We're going to do this one more time, opening the hips. Set the hand down, step back into plank, down dog. So we're going to transition on the other side. So take the left up and back, and then pull the knee in and set the foot down between the hands. Float the back, knee down for your kneeling lunge on the opposite side. So we should be nice and warm by the time we've finished here. Inhale, lengthen the front leg. Readjust if you need to. And then bend through the front knee, float the arms overhead. And then float the hands down, lengthen through the front leg for half split, and bend into kneeling lunge. Back into half split one more time through that kneeling lunge. Finally, finishing in half split. Bend the front knee and take the back knee off the ground, and then step back through plank. Bend through the knees and walk the feet to hands into forward fold. Roll up through the spine. Roll the shoulders back. Nice big circles. You're always creating loads of space between the shoulders and the ears, and just rounding them forwards. Change direction. So we're going into the first set of our exercises. We're going to start off with a squat with a reach. So your squat with reach, let's give you 10 seconds to get started. Squat with a reach, take your feet hip width apart, or just wider, shoulder width apart, and float the arms forwards. Reach overhead as you squat down, and then rise up, press the hands back. So you want to keep the chest up, shoulders relaxed as you lift the arms overhead. And you're always trying to engage the core to keep the spine nice and stable. Push and drive up through both legs. Squeeze the tops of the thighs as you do. Nice and deep into the squat as you sit, and then stand, extending through the hips. Trying to get the arms in line with the ears, but if not, that's okay. Let's do one more squat, nice and low, and stand. Overhead press. So we're going to sink down into our squat, hinging at the hips, just slightly, chest up. Extend arms overhead, big squeeze through the traps, and then pull. Extend, squeeze, and then pull. Keep the core engaged and your spine nice and straight from the crown of your head to your tailbone. Let the legs work to help keep you in position, sitting in this squat. And if you can sink a little bit deeper and see if you can meet your edge, get a little bit closer. As you draw the elbows down and into the rib cage, you're squeezing the lats and stretching the lats, squeezing the top of the shoulders. Last pull and stand, relax, roll the shoulders back, shake out the legs. So we're going to do walkouts. You're rolling or moving to the bottom of your mat, rolling down through the spine. Place the hands on the ground and walk out into a plank. Nice and strong. Option to float to the knees here, or walk it back in and roll up and roll down out into your plank and back in. So this is your option 1, floating the knees down to the ground to take that pressure off. Try and keep the core nice and tight, spine nice and long as you stand. Always walking out into that strong plank with strong core. See how still you can keep those hips. Rolling down one final time. Finishing off, I'm doing an extra one here. Take a nice wide stance for plie squats. Nice wide stance, long through the spine. Lift through the heels and then sit down, grounding the heels into your plie squat. As you stand up, pull the elbows higher than the chest, squeezing the shoulders, come up onto your tiptoes and down, reach for the ground, tap and lift, pull into your shoulders. So as you pull, you're squeezing the elbows back and pinching the shoulder blades. Meanwhile, push through those calf muscles to elevate yourself out of your squat, squeezing your buttocks and tops of your thighs. Last one, and relax. So we're going into a hinge. For this, we're focusing on our hip position, feet hip width apart, hinge forwards at the hips, spine nice and long. I want you to take both arms out to the side, and you're pulling all the way back, pinching the upper back. Relax the shoulders, and then pulse halfway up, all the way up, halfway down. So you're pulsing through these back flies, squeezing the arms, squeezing the shoulder blades. Short, sharp, pulsing breaths. Remember, draw the shoulders away from the ears. Keep the spine nice and long. Just a few more seconds and release and roll up through the spine. So we're going back to our squats. We've done all the exercises. Let's repeat. We're going to add in a little bit more heat. So feet shoulder width apart, float the arms overhead, pulse into your squat. Pulse 1, 2, and stand. Pull the elbows back and up. 1, 2. So working into those lats nice and early and squeezing into the shoulder blades as we pulse through our squat. Loads of heat now in the upper body and the legs. Reach through active fingers. They should be alive. Don't let them flap about. Stretch the fingers to the sky. Last one. And rest. Roll the shoulders. Catch your breath. Sip some water if you need it. I'll take that opportunity myself. Water in a mug here. Overhead press into pull. So standing nice and tall, stretch through the arms, then sink into that squat. Pull and squeeze twice. 1, 2. Big extension through the arms. Pulse as you pull, squeezing into the lats. Keeping the abs and core nice and tight. Sitting into that squat. I can feel my shoulders, they're on fire now. Big stretch. Pulse, pulse, and squeeze. Pulse, pulse, and squeeze. Deeper into that squat if you can for the final few seconds. And rise up. Float the arms down. Nice wide stance. Just shake out the hips. We've got walkouts next, coming to the top of our mat. Rolling down through the spine into your plank. Hold that plank Give me an arm pull, pulse, pulse on each side. Then walk it back in. Keep those hips stable, roll up through the spine and down. Arm pull, pulse. Keep the hips nice and stable. Option to float the knees to the ground. Remember, work with where you are at. This is your challenge. You should be able to make your way through it. As you pull the elbows back, you're squeezing the shoulder blades. Last time. Doing an extra one again. And roll up. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Take a nice wide stance for plies. Draw the elbows up. Squeeze the calves and then lower down. Pulse, pulse. We're going to really focus on pulsing out this last set of exercises. Taking that time to squeeze as much as we can out of these muscles of ours. We spent all this time working on stabilizing our body, fortifying it the last 19 days. Let's keep greasing that groove. We're doing well. Last one. And relax. Shake everything out. We're hinging at the hips. Taking the arms out to the side. Can you hear my breath? Properly breathing hard means that I'm working hard. You should be too. Hinge forwards at the hips. Feet hip width apart. Take the arms back to pulse. Keep the shoulders drawn away from the ears so you're not crunching through the neck. Stay connected with that breath. Work that upper back. You're pinching the shoulder blades together as you pulse. We're here for another 10 seconds. Keep it going, even if your arms are feeling heavy like lead. Whew. And float the arms down, roll up through the spine. Take a rest. Nice big rest. Well done. That's the first circuit done. We've got another circuit coming up. So while you catch your breath, I'll take a quick sip. All right. So same principle follows. Sweating now. Same principle follows. We are getting down on the ground for the first exercise. We've got 5 exercises to work through. And we're going to start off with a hover with a little bit of hip mobility. So you still got a good 30 odd seconds of rest left. Don't rush. I'm just demonstrating what's to come. So we're going to be on all fours, taking our core in and lifting the knees off the ground. From here, we're going to pull one leg back, squeezing the glutes, and then bring it back down to the ground, alternating from left to right, trying to keep the hips and shoulders stable throughout the exercise. If this doesn't work, then just drop down to your forearms and hold a low plank while you march through the legs. You got about 10 seconds. Get yourself ready. Okay. So let's come onto all fours, feet flexed. Engage the core, lift the knees off of the ground. So donkey kick back, squeeze the glutes, and alternate from left to right. Really draw the heel up to the sky. Keep that arch out of your lower back. You want to remain connected to your core so you're not crunching the lower back. Think squeeze glutes. Push the chest away from the ground. You're doing beautifully. Come on. One more. And relax. Float the knees down to the ground. Shake out the wrists, catch your breath, and then we've got push-ups with back extensions. So we're going into a push-up, chest down to the ground, performing 3 pulsing back extensions. So from the knees, bend the elbows all the way down. Draw the elbows back, lifting the chest. 1, 2, and 3. Hands beneath the shoulders. Big push, nice and strong. Give me 3 push-ups. Lower down to the ground, 3 back extensions. And back into your push-ups. Squeeze the elbows in as you push. Think about squeezing the back of the arms and the chest. Last set of extensions. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, pinching them, working the upper back. And last one. Finish off. Roll over onto your back. And we're going to take our feet hip width apart, pull the heels into your buttocks, arms by your side. Let's cross one foot over the knee, and lift through the hips. Single leg bridge. Roll halfway down, tailbone hovers over the ground, but never touches. You're focusing on squeezing the glutes, the bent leg, and to elevate the hips, squeeze and lift through the other side. So you're working both glutes. And I'll correct myself. You're stretching one side of your hips while working through the glutes on the other. See how stable you can keep the hips. Rolling down, change side. Take a little time, shake out the thighs if you need to, shake out the glutes. And let's go. Remember, halfway down, all the way up. So feel each section of the spine roll down and meet the mat. Maintain control and good core engagement. Keep going, give me one more, and roll all the way down. Pull both thighs into your chest, lift chest to thigh, gently roll it out. And then roll up to a seated position. Following exercise, you can bring yourself to the top of your mat. Engage the core long through the spine, shift back onto your tailbone. Legs are parallel to the ground. Remain hands on the ground, and you're rolling back, coming back into boat. Option to keep the hands behind the thighs. Find that control. Bring yourself onto your tailbone for a brief pause before rolling back. Smooth curve through the spine. You're doing good. Keep it up. Keep it up. Find that control last time. Find that pause and then set the feet down to the ground. We're coming back onto our hands and knees for hover with donkey kick. So let's get ready to go again. Second time. Engage the core, lift the knees off of the ground. Draw back, pulse twice with each kick. Keep the center. Keep that engagement of the core. And then squeeze through the glutes. Squeeze the chest as you push it away from the ground. An option to bring the knees to the ground if you find it's getting too strong for you, and keep kicking. And last one, float knees to the ground. Beautiful. Roll the shoulders out. We're coming back into our push-ups with back extensions. So you can do this from all fours or send the knees back. Squeeze the elbows in, lower chest to ground as you bend. Find that control with each push-up. 3 full push-ups before you lower to the ground. Pulse in your back extensions. 2 and 3. You are doing beautifully. Keep working through. Big squeeze. Last lot of extensions. And 3. Swivel around. Come on to your buttocks. Lay on your back for our bridges. Cross one foot over the opposite knee. Engage the core. Lift through the hip. Coming down halfway. Find stability in the hips. Should be a strong squeeze through your buttocks to lift the hips. See how stable you can be. I noticed I was crunching into my shoulders there on my neck. Relax the shoulders, relax the neck, and roll down. Shake out the thighs if you need to. And then change side, opposite foot over the opposite knee. Engage the core, get yourself ready. Lift and squeeze. Push through flat foot. Make sure your heel's not lifting off the ground. Lift a little higher, squeeze a little more. Work into the back of the thigh. Maintain that control. Last one, and roll down. Pull both thighs into the chest. Gently decompress the back and then roll up into your boat pose. And make sure you transition onto the right side or the front of your mat. And let's go. Find that strong position. And then roll back. Now you have the option to release the hands from the thighs and roll. We're finishing off nice and strong here. Keep that control. Relax the shoulders. We're almost there. One final time. Come back into that balance. Set the feet down. Bring the hands down by your side and slide the legs back. Stretch the legs out. Then give them a little bit of a shake. Loosen up that tension. And then we're going to loosen up the hips first. So let's roll onto our front. And set the hips down. Forearms beneath the shoulders. And forehead on the ground. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. As you exhale, lift chest and head off of the mat. Keep the hips anchored. And you're looking for an open stretch sensation through the abdomen, chest, and shoulders. Catch your breath. Beautiful work. All the hard work is done now. Roll down through the spine.
I'm going to take the hands beneath the shoulders and then push up onto all fours. Bring the knees beneath the hips. My mat shifted a bit. Let's fix that. And I would like you to take one arm and lift up to the sky, opening the chest, and then thread through, resting the back of the arm and head on the ground. Keep the hips centered. You're looking for a stretch through the mid spine. And the more you can keep the hips centered, the more you'll feel that stretch through the mid spine here. But the more the hip shifts, it takes the stretch away from that area. You miss the benefit of this whole threading the needle. On the inhale, come back up to center. Let's change side. Other arm sweeps up to the sky. Open chest, and as you exhale, thread the needle through, resting on the back of the arm. Hips centered. Feel free to close the eyes down. Bring that awareness back to the breath. Notice the change in the breath since the start of this practice. And with the inward breath, come back onto all fours and then set the set the knees back. And we're coming into a plank position. So one leg goes back and then sweep the other leg underneath you for pigeon pose. Sink the hips down, keep them level. And you're looking for a stretch to the outside of that front hip. Got a little cramp setting in there. Just had to get rid of that. And you're welcome to rest on your forearm. There we go. Really had to fight with that cramp there. But it's okay. My body was just letting me know that this stretch is more than welcome. Sometimes you have to meet your body where it's at. Can't force it where it doesn't want to be and doesn't want to go. We're going to transition through plank, so slowly come up and out of your pigeon. And transition through plank, sweep the other leg underneath the body and set the hips down. And for this, I'll come off of my forearms this time. Sorry, come off my hands and onto my forearms. And take one more breath here. Slowly rise up out of your pigeon. Step back into plank. Set the knees down nice and wide. Bring the big toes together. Feet flexed or pointed, that's okay. Set the hips back to heels. Rest your forehead on the floor. And then lift the palms off of the ground and gently walk the fingertips away from the body, stretching the lats. And then we're going to walk the hands off the left side of the mat, stretching out the right edge of the body. You're breathing in to the right side of the rib cage and anchoring the right hip down to the heels. So you got this curve through the spine and the arms out the fingertip. And inhale, gently walk the hands across the mat off the other side. With the final breath in, take your hands back to center. Relax the shoulders, rest the forehead on the ground. Send the tailbone towards the ground as well, in between the heels. And then sweep the hands behind you, relaxing the shoulders. You're taking the weight into your tailbone and off the back of the neck. There's a little bit of core engagement here. You're more than welcome to hold on to the soles of your feet for a little bit of support. And what helps is drawing the navel upwards into the spine, relax the shoulders, rounding the lower back, and as you inhale, roll up through the spine. Feel free to use the hands for support beneath the shoulders. And gently roll the shoulders back to finish off. Beautiful work. Thank you very much for your efforts. I appreciate it as always. I want you to enjoy the rest of your day, evening, whatever you decide to do. And I will see you. I'm even sweating out my eyeballs. I'll see you for tomorrow. That'll be day 20. Until then, peace. Stay blessed.